We can move mountains in the valley. Who out there know is that our God is so awesome? So awesome. Welcome. As you come on, say hello so we can say hello back to you guys. Today is Take Territory Tuesday. From the rain, my God is all. Welcome everyone. Today is Take Territory Tuesday, and we're going to talk about the Joseph plan and building wealth God ways. So y'all know how we like to start it out with a little worship and praise this morning. This is your first time tuning in. My name is Cathy McReynolds. I'm with Bible Business Academy and Capital Street Wealth. So I just want to welcome you all out today as we get everything started, and we're talking about taking territory. This is Take Territory Tuesday. We're not going to just own the block. We want to own the entire city. So if you're ready for that, if you're ready for ownership, if you're ready to change your life the way God wants us to, and to get all the promises that he had, you definitely want to tune in. I'm going to go ahead and stop that, and we're going to go ahead and get everything started here. So let me remove the captions. Let me go ahead and hit hide there. All right, y'all, we are ready to get everything started today. Today is Take Territory Tuesday, and we're going to talk about the Joseph plan, how building wealth is important to do it God's way. You want to definitely do everything that you do God's way, especially business. So good morning, Kingdom Builders. So I want to welcome you out to Take Territory Tuesday, where we learn to think, where we learn to move, and we learn to build just like our Father designed us to, because he is so awesome. And today we're going to dive into the Joseph plan. We're going to dive into God's timeless blueprint for building wealth, and how he has that set up for us to build wealth and to preserve generations and to take territory, even in the midst of whatever was happening, in the midst of famine, in the midst of fear. Joseph did that thing, right? And I'm going to just share his story as we go through this slide. If you go to Genesis 41, here's where we meet Joseph. He was a man that was sold into slavery. He was betrayed, forgotten, but not forsaken. So don't get it twisted, right? God gave Joseph a vision, just like he gave us a divine economic plan to store up during the 7 years of plenty, so that Egypt would prosper during those 7 years of famine. And that's what he's given us, that plan inside of us to go ahead and make that happen. And it didn't just save a nation, he owned the territory. That's what he did. He managed the wealth. He took ground, and he helped others survive. And the best part about it is he did it all God's way. He did it with wisdom. He did it with patience. He did it with diligence. And he did it with stewardship. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the slideshow here just to show you where we're at today, and how you can also hear from God. What he shares with us, it never changes, right? It's always the same. So you got to hear from him. You got to hear from him what your assignment is. And Joseph didn't just move off of emotions. That's the important thing. He moved off of revelation. He prayed. He asked the Lord to show me where to prepare, show me where to store up, show me where to plant. And that's how we want to move. We want to ask God to just show us where we need to go. So let me go ahead and go through these slides here so that I can share with you the Joseph plan for building wealth God's way in today's world. All right, y'all. So in order to prepare like Joseph, we have to get into the word, read what Joseph did then, and then ask the Holy Spirit to direct us into how we can use this today. So in Genesis 41, 47 through 49, it talks about God's provision and God's wealth strategy. And so during that time, it was a season of abundance. It was how they stored portions during plentiful times. So you may be experiencing that in your business. Maybe you're getting a lot going on right now, or whatever you're doing, you're able to store up stuff. But we're going to show you how to take that from storing up to owning more and more and more, and have divine stewardship so you can multiply and protect what God has already given you. So that is preparing like Joseph. You want to always make sure that you're positioning yourself to understand what's happening in the day that you're in the season that you're in. And this matters because kingdom stewardship is what God calls believers to manage. He wants us to manage our resources wisely, right? Even during whether the administration, it doesn't matter who's president right now. None of that matters because that's not God's economy. He takes care of us during everything, even during economic uncertainties, whether it's inflation, is your market volatility. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter who's in office, what plans are being changed, who's losing what. You can't ever rely on the world system. We live in the kingdom system. So just like Joseph went from the pit to the palace to the prison, then back to the palace, you have to know and understand that God will always have you. He always got you. And so there's 5 storehouses that are of today that's relevant that we can look into and build up the storehouse. So you got real estate, and of course that's just property ownership, land and investment. You got stocks and businesses and ownership in productive companies. So that's part of why we talk about building businesses with biblical principles and owning stock. I've been a licensed financial advisor, I don't know, probably 30 something years. And it's taken me that long to kind of figure out okay, this is what we're supposed to be doing. You got gold and silver, that's physical precious metal protections that are out there. You got Bitcoin and digital assets. So pretty much everybody knows what the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies are, but that digital asset, that's that business, that's that online training program. Because you see a lot of people come on here and they're teaching you stuff, right? They're talking about, whether it's real estate, whether it's preparing a car, or cooking or whatever it is, but they're building digital assets. And what that is training programs that can go on and on and on. I always say, don't listen to what people tell you and say, but watch what they do. Are you doing what they're doing? And so anytime you see anyone, including myself, we come on here and we offer training programs, those training programs becomes digital assets that become evergreen, so they can go on and on and on forever, especially in the land, especially in money, especially that. You can watch a video 20 years from now and money still operates the same. Bitcoin, things are changing. Bitcoin wasn't around a decade ago, so new things are coming in. Digital assets became popular when the internet came in. So you got to move with the times. You got to move where things are going. But instead of moving with them, we're going to start creating the next movement. You got also cash reserves so that you have something set aside, and that's walking into that Joseph plan. So let me know if this is making sense to you in the comments, if you're catching this during the live or the replay. The next thing that what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break down each of those and how you can look at everything, because the word tells us to be transformed by the renewing of our minds, and it takes you to be around the right group of people that will help you to think differently. That's why you tune in here. You also want to read, listen, learn, have a personable syllabus so that you can start learning these things. So God said, if you want wisdom, just ask him for it and he will give it to you. So the very first thing you want to understand is real estate. Man, he gave land from the beginning, and our goal is to get the land back. We talk about all the things that are happening in our city. The reason it's happening is because we don't own it. When you own it, you can control it. You can control who rents there, who lives there. You can control all of that. And that's how we build the kingdom. That's how we get that wealth back. That's how you create generational wealth. That's how you create cash flow and have security that goes beyond you, because somebody will always be renting. Somebody will always be renting. It shouldn't be you, but somebody will always be renting. And this is how income will continuously flow through. And even the promised land principle, you look at Deuteronomy 8:7-10, is provision. He's going to give you provision for life. And I flipped that by mistake. So let me get this back over here. Give me a second, y'all. All right. We're back. I don't know what happened to me, but that's okay. I can go off the screen there. So Deuteronomy 8:7-10 shows God's provision through land. And that's what you want to do. You want to be a part of that ownership. The second, storehouse. And these are all things you want to store up so that not only you will create that wealth 7 years from now, right? But also generational. Gold and silver is biblical for gold and silver. It says Abraham was rich in livestock, silver, and gold. Silver and gold has not gone anywhere. It is still here. It is inflation protection. It allows you to preserve purchasing power during currency devaluation. And it's trusted, tangible asset. It's physical wealth that you can hold and recognize globally. That's why real estate is so big. You can see it. You can go to it. And it is different from those digital assets. So that's the storehouse number 2 that you want to have stored up for yourself. Number 3 is Bitcoin and digital assets. So digital store of value and is moderate alternatives to physical precious metals. So it's online. It's a digital process. We don't know how it's going to work out now, but it's just like everything else. It'll eventually work itself out if enough people want to get involved into it. It's limited supply, capped at 21 million coins, so things will change, and the growth potential, but it's high risk. It's high risk, so you got to balance the risk with the rewards. You don't want to put all your eggs in this basket. Always go back to the word, because there's nothing new underneath the sun. Nothing ever changes, right? The fourth one is cash reserves. An emergency fund here, it says 3 to 6 months, but ignore that. You want to do 7 to 10 years, 7 to 10 years for unexpected crisis. That's what your emergency fund, and it doesn't have to be liquid cash. It could be income coming in from apartments. Do you have enough to last 7 to 10 years because no matter what's happening, people have to pay the rent. They got to pay somewhere to rent. And then opportunity fund. Do you have capital ready? Do you have investment ready? Do you have your investment team? Do you know how to go out and get the private money, the bridge loans, all of those things that you need to have when an opportunity presents itself? And so that's where the biblical wisdom comes from. In Proverbs 21:20, it says the wise stores up choice food and olive oil. So what's your today's olive oil? Some of the stuff that we're talking about, that's today's olive oil. And the choice food is the choice storehouse. What's in your storehouse? That's why we're giving you these items today to look at it as your storehouse. Number 5 is stocks and ownership. And you business, that is like, you want to have your own business. You can maximize the returns on that if you have the right business. That's why we help you build businesses with biblical principles. Or you can get partial ownership in other companies by buying stock. Warren Buffett, that's how he became famous for doing that. And he didn't get started until he was over 50 years old. But you want to look for growth in income, dividends plus long-term appreciation. And I don't have time to get into what all of this means, but we'll on Tuesdays we'll be talking more about definitions, helping you to understand that. But just remember Proverbs 31:16. She considers a field and buys it. Not she considers a field and thinks about it. She considers a field and buys it. You want to consider something, do the due diligence. We'll be walking you through that. We'll be showing you how to do that. And then you got to go buy it. You have to own it. You have to buy it. That is the key. That is the ticket right there. So what we have, y'all, we have the Joseph Plan tracker sheet for you. So if you want to learn more about this process, and have this tracker sheet as you work with us, it'll help you monitor growth across all 5 of those wealth categories. It'll help you set up biblical goals and align financial targets with kingdom priorities. We're talking faith, we're talking diligence. Those are the things that lead to wealth, and combine spiritual principles with consistent action. So you can go to BibleBusinessAcademy.com or go to Joseph, or just put Joseph in the comment in order to get a copy of that, so that we can help you build the way God has called you to build. So I just want to end it with this. I just ask God. The thing about it is he's so amazing that whenever we ask him for, and if it's in his will, he's going to give it to us. So just pray and say, Lord, show me where to prepare. Just ask him to show you where to prepare. Ask him to show you where to store up. Ask him to show you where to plant. He will show you exactly what you need so that you can do what he called you to do. So I hope this brought you all value today. I appreciate you. Let me know what you got out of it. If you know somebody else who needs to hear this, make sure you share to them, and make sure you follow us as we start sharing what we have going on here. You can go to kingdomstreetcapital.com, kingdomstreetcapital.com. So as we're building that site, we'll have some educational stuff on there that you can download and help you acquire assets and also income and collect cash flow. That is the key. We're talking apartments, we're talking gold, we're talking silver, we're talking real estate, things that will multiply and feed generations. You want to feed generations. I'll end this with Proverbs 13:22. It says, a good person will leave an inheritance for their children's children. That's what you want to do. All right, y'all. Have a blessed and awesome day, and we'll talk to you later. Giants in the eyes, the sky's the limit, the picture painted.